So there's three main sentence structures that we want to look at today. We've got simple sentences, which are our easiest ones. These have only got one clause in them. Remember that a clause is just a piece of a sentence. So a sentence that's simple is that's going to be the whole clause. So we have, I love books. That's going to be my example. It's got my verb, which is love. It's got my noun, which is books. So that's a simple sentence. Now, if I want to make that into a compound sentence, I'm going to need to add another clause to it. And I want to do that using a coordinating conjunction, which could be and, but, so. Okay, so I love books. I love to swim. I've got my main ideas here are about things that I love. And I'm going to join them together using and. So I love books and I love to swim. Okay, so I've got two clauses, join them together with the coordinating conjunction. That makes a compound sentence. If I wanted to make my example, I love books, into a complex sentence, I'm going to need more than one clause again. But this time I'm going to join them with a subordinating conjunction. So this is my because, although, after, when, since. Okay, these ones are going to give me more detail. They're going to add a little bit of something, some more information to my clause. So in my main clause, which is I love books, I'm going to add because they are fun to read. Okay, so because they're fun to read tells me why I love reading books. It gives me some more information. It adds something onto it. So I've made a simple sentence, I love books. Compound sentence, I'm giving me another piece of information. And a complex sentence, I'm adding information with that one. Now, why do we even want to use different types of sentence structures in our writing? Well, mostly because it stops you from being too repetitive. If you've got loads and loads of short sentences, then it's going to sound really, really boring. And if you've got loads of explanations and loads of becauses, all these sentences are going to get too long, and that's going to be difficult and boring to read. Okay, you want to vary it up a bit so it's a bit more interesting. Sometimes you're going to need to give lots of detail, and sometimes you're not going to need to give details. You don't want to put becauses in every sentence just because it sounds like you should be. So let's find examples from the text then. The wobbly bicycle set off over the mountains and eventually rolled down to the beach. Do we think that's a simple sentence with one clause, a compound sentence with a coordinating conjunction and more than one clause, or a subordinating sentence, which is a complex sentence? Well, you should have spotted, obviously, the and here. And is our coordinating conjunction, so we've got two halves of our sentence. The wobbly bicycle set off over the mountains, eventually rolled down to the beach. Okay, so we can put them together and you've got our coordinating conjunction that's going to join them together. We've got two different ideas. The bicycle's setting off, the bicycle's rolling down to the beach. What about in this example? Pygmy Hedgehog raced ahead because she could roll into a ball. Now, obviously, we've got our conjunction here, which is a subordinating conjunction. So this clause, because she could roll into a ball, that's giving a bit more detail as to why Pygmy Hedgehog raced ahead. That's why she did it. She could roll into a ball. So another trick with our subordinating clauses is that we can swap them around in the sentence. So we could put this one first, if it makes sense. Because she could roll into a ball, Pygmy Hedgehog raced ahead. Still makes sense. That's proof that it's a subordinating conjunction, and this is our complex sentence. What about this one down here then? The once sparkling and glittering sea had been ruined by plastic. Now this one's a bit of a trickster because we have got and here, and is a coordinating conjunction, but in this case, it's not serving as a conjunction. The and is only joining sparkling and glittering because we need to check to see if it's going to join our two clauses together. So the once sparkling, is that a clause on its own? Does that make sense? No. glittering sea had been ruined by plastic. That doesn't make sense on its own. So that and is not working as a conjunction in this example. It's making a list sentence, sparkling and glittering sea. So this is actually, if you take away that word, which is part of our expanded noun phrase, there isn't a conjunction in there. It's not joining two ideas together. There's only one idea, and then it's the sea has been ruined by plastic. So that's actually a simple sentence. So, can you use it in a sentence? Let's see if we can practice making compound and complex sentences. So I'm starting with a simple sentence. This is just one idea, one clause. There's no conjunctions. It's just talking about one thing. The wobbly bicycle travelled into the deep, luscious forest. Okay? I want to have a go at turning this into a compound sentence. So I'm going to add a bit more information to my sentence, make it a bit more exciting by using a coordinating conjunction. I'm going to go for and. So I'm going to take away my full stop. I'm going to put and. Them, they. There we go. They came upon a terrible sight. It's a new thing that happened. It's got a new verb in it. Something else has occurred. So the bicycle's travelling through the forest. They came across a terrible sight. I've joined them together with my and. So now I want to have a go at doing a complex sentence. I'm going to take my same simple sentence I've got here. So the wobbly bicycle travelled into the deep, luscious forest. This time I'm going to give a bit more detail to them travelling into the forest. I'm not going to add a new idea, really. I'm going to give you a bit more. Okay? So I might think about when they did it. I'm going to take away my full stop. And I'm going to use there we go. After they left the plastic covered beach. So I've given you a bit more information about them travelling into the forest. Let's double check to see if we could swap the clauses around in our sentence. After they left the plastic covered beach, the wobbly bicycle travelled into the deep luscious forest. That still does make sense. There we go. I've made two different types of sentences to vary up my quite boring simple sentence. Not that boring actually, because I've got an expanded noun phrase in there. That's quite nice. So can you use them in your own sentence? I've changed my simple sentence here to the next part of the story. The four friends rode into a beautiful town. That's my simple sentence. I want you now to have a go at trying to make a compound sentence and trying to turn it into a complex sentence as well. We've got some conjunctions here that can help. Pause the video and have a go. Maybe you can think of 2 or 3 different types of sentences using different conjunctions, using it in different ways there. It will be a good idea in your pre-writes and post-writes to practice using these as much as you can. So even though it might feel a little bit strange, it would be fab if you could, in every paragraph you write, have at least one example of a simple, complex and compound sentence to sort of vary it up, okay, and practice recognising the different types. Can you manipulate? So once you've finished writing your pre-write, you can go back through your writing with 3 coloured pencils, and I want you to underline each of the different sentence types with the different colours. Have you noticed that you've accidentally got loads of compound sentences or just lots of simple sentences? And if you spot that you have used one type a lot more than another type, that's your chance to go back and edit and turn them into different sentence types. So if you've got lots of simple sentences, try and make compound and complex sentences out of them. And maybe you've got a preference. Maybe you find after trying them out loads of different ways and in loads of different contexts, you really like using compound sentences. And that's fine. You can have a preference. It's just good to get some variety because not everybody likes to read the same things or write the same things.